Welcome back. We're going to be spending a lot of time holding President Biden accountable, that is for sure. Just later tonight, we have two big lies we're going to fact check for you. But I don't want to let this week pass without noting the achievements of President Trump. And who better to do that than Tammy Bruce? Tammy, you've really understood what the significance, the real consequence of first Donald Trump as a candidate and then President Trump, from the start, better than anyone. I'll just turn it over to you. Let's just start talking about what those achievements are.
Well, a great segment, by the way, in discussion that you've had about Wuhan and the virus. That's very important stuff. And thanks for having me on tonight. We don't need necessarily Joe Biden's leftward lurch, which he's done, to really remember what President Trump accomplished, because it really is in the midst of the entire establishment. President Trump showed us that we weren't finished, that there was not a new normal, that Americans weren't hopeless, that coal miners didn't need to go learn to code, that we could live lives that best suited us, we could make the decisions that were best for our families, we could do the jobs that we wanted to do if government would get off our back, if we were allowed to be Americans and pursue our families, our jobs, our dreams. And what that requires, of course, is simply being set free. That was the key part of his entire program and ability to move forward. It really was a love for this country, which I think developed during the campaign, and recognizing that Americans need to be able to be trusted, and we need to have the mechanisms with which to freely be able to be encouraged and optimistic enough about the future to open our businesses, because we are the sovereign and there is an interest. Americans are different. We don't expect to be taken care of. We don't want sugar daddies. We don't want somebody to open our cage sometimes. Donald Trump understood that. So it was, of course, about the cutting back of regulations, tax breaks, making it clear to businesses that bringing money back to the country was a good thing, telling the American people, the forgotten man and woman, hey, wait a minute. You guys do matter. Let's start these businesses. Yes. Let's look forward to the future. It was optimism that made the difference for us.
I think that's right. You see, what you've done there, which I so brilliantly, is this combination of the policy agenda on the economic front, also on the foreign policy. We haven't even got to the peace deals and getting NATO to cough up more money, and of course the historic reversal of the establishment position on China. It wasn't just the policy, though. It was this attitude. It was the mindset, particularly the respect for people who'd been left behind and the strength to stand up to the elitism of the establishment.
Well, and they're interconnected, because if you trust the American people, they deserve better. You know that you can let it go and that the future will be better if you trust the American people. And if you do that, it leads you to policies that reflect America first, that is a trustable policy for the rest of the world. So it leads you to expect Middle East peace, to dealing with China properly, that no, we don't need to be in bed with China, that we all deserve better, but you can only believe that and work on it if you like the American people and have confidence in what they'll deliver. So one feeds into the nature of how you view policy, and that, of course, is why we always have a problem with the Democrats, and of course now with President Biden, is that they, I think, genuinely do not like us. They think we're simps. They think that we need a sugar daddy because we have no idea how to run our own lives. And that then runs through policy, which destroys our optimism, and it destroys the future as well.
Exactly right. Well, and as we were about to talk about, they're making a virtue now, as they see it, of centralizing everything. It is so against the way not only experience tells us is effective, but against the American way too. Tammy, that was so great. Thank you so much. We can have a lot more to talk about with you in the weeks ahead on where all this this positive populism, as I describe it, goes in the future. But for now, thanks very much for being with us.